Hello! Today I'm going to be walking you through a tutorial on how to crochet your own Junimo from Stardew Valley. You can make these in any color and they're pretty good for markets. I'm going to be making a little light green one today. For this little guy, I'm going to be using Parfait Chunky, which is a weight 6 super bulky chenille yarn. I'm using the color Key Lime. I also have pink for the blush and black for the arms and legs and the stem. I have some 12mm safety eyes and I have a 5mm crochet hook. I have a stitch marker, a darning needle. I do prefer metal needles, but this one's just a little bit longer and you do need to sew from the very bottom to the very top at the end. And then I just have also a pair of scissors. So to start, I usually start with the stem because I think it's the hardest part and I just like to get it out of the way. The arms and legs are crocheted in, not sewn, so I don't have to worry about those until later. So I'm going to start with this little stem and leaf and then work the rest of the body. So the first thing you're going to do is take your black yarn and make a slip knot. I like to start by chaining 3, and then you're going to grab your green, whatever color you're using for the body and the leaf, and attach that by also chaining 1. And then you're going to chain 5. Now, starting in that second chain, I make a single crochet. And then in that next chain, I'm going to do a double crochet. In the third chain, I'm going to do a half double crochet. And in that last green chain, I'm going to slip stitch, but yarn over with the black instead of the green. So pull through both of those loops. And then I'm going to do 3 slip stitches down those 3 black chains. So it's 1, 2, 3. And that is the whole stem. So now I'm going to fasten off black. And cut the green. So pull this. So you have 2 black tails, and then I like to tie the ends of the green together. And then I'm just going to weave those up in this green area. Alright, so there's the little stem and leaf, and I'm just going to set that aside and we're going to sew it to the top of the head a little bit later. Alright, now we're going to get started on the actual body part. So we're going to grab our body color and start by making a magic ring, or you can use the chain 2 method, but we're going to put 8 single crochets in that magic ring. Alright, so there's our magic ring. And then for row 2, we're going to put an increase in each of those 8 stitches. For row 3, I'm going to do 1 SC and 1 increase all the way around. Alright, and then for row 4, I'm going to do 2 single crochets and 1 increase all the way around. So you should have 32 stitches. Right, starting on round 5, we're going to single crochet all the way around, but in the back loops only. Alright, now we're going to do 3 rounds of just regular single crochets all the way around. Alright, so here is that ridge that we made with the back loops. You can also see it on the finished plushie right here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 rows in total since the ridge. So now we are going to add the arms. You're going to start out by making 8 single crochets in the green. So I'm going to do 7 full single crochets, and then I'm going to yarn over that the 8th stitch with black. So that's 4. That's 7. And then for my 8th one, I'm going to pull up a loop, yarn over in black instead of green. Right? And then I am going to grab on this tail of black so it doesn't move anywhere. and chain 7. All right, now starting in the second loop from the hook, I'm going to do 6 single crochets back down to the body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on this 6th one, I'm going to pull up a loop and yarn over in green. Now I'm going to insert my hook into the next stitch on the body. So this one was where I just did that single crochet and chained and came back. So I'm going to go into this next stitch. And this green is kind of loose, so I'm just going to pull that tail so it tightens. I'm going to make a stitch and cut this black yarn. All right, so that was 1. We're going to do 16 in total between the 2 arms. So it's 2, it's 5, 10, 15, and on this 16th one, I'm going to yarn over in black, just like before. And then chain 7 and do 6 single crochets back down the chain. So that's 5, and then pull up a loop and yarn over with green. All right, and then stick that into the next stitch on the body, so right here, and then just tighten that. And then we're going to do 8 single crochets in green to finish off the row. All right, now I'm going to cut this black tail. And now I like to tie the ends of the arms together just so that they're extra secure. Okay, so this is what we have so far. This, where the stitch marker is, this is the back and this is the front. And I like to sew on the little stem now. So if one side looks better than the other, this will probably be the back. So you want to sew this on right there. So I'm going to thread my needle. And I like to sew it to the opposite sides of this first round, the magic circle. So I'm going to go in one side and out the other, just like that. Sew that through. And then I'm going to grab a stitch from this side and just put it back down through. Right. And now I take the other string and go through those same 2 stitches, but in the opposite order. So it's going the other direction. All right. Now I'm just going to tie those two together. And here is our little stem, nice and secure on the top of the head. All right, so now we're going to continue with the rest of the body. We're going to do 4 rounds of single crochet. Okay, so I just did 7. This is the 8th stitch here. And now I like to fold the arm forward and fold the tails back inside the body. Just grab it like that. Your 9th stitch is this green one all the way over here. So you're just going to insert the hook in there, make your 9th stitch, and continue. All right, so this is the 24th. And just like before, I'm going to fold the arm forward and the tails inside. I'm going to go all the way over here. This is my 25th stitch. And then just finish off the round. All right, so it should look like that underneath. We're going to do 3 more rounds of single crochet. All right, so now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds after the arm. And like I said, this is the back with the stitch marker. So we're going to turn it to the front, and now I'm going to put in the eyes. And these are 12mm eyes. I like to see where the arm is, and I like to go 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches away from each arm. So I goes here. One, 2, 3, 4. All right, so the eyes should look like that. I'll put the backings in. You can do the blush however you want. I like to start here, right under the eye, kind of on the inside. And then I like to go 2 stitches over, and I go over it twice. And then I'll go on the other side, about right there. So 1, 2 stitches over. Right, and then I'll tie that off Now we're going to add the legs. Right, so I'm going to start off by doing 13 single crochets in green, and on that 13th one I'll yarn over in black. Okay, so that's 10, 11, 12, and then pull up a loop, yarn over in black, and the legs are the exact same as the arms. So I'm going to pull through both loops and chain 7. And then do 6 single crochets back down. And on that 6th one, I will yarn over with green. Cut the yarn, actually. All right, then I'm going to tighten it, and we're going to do 8 green stitches between the legs. So that's 7, and we're going to yarn over the 8th in black. And the legs should be positioned about below each eye. So chain 7, 6 single crochet down, yarn over in green on that 6th stitch, and then we're going to do 11 single crochets in green to finish off that round. All right, cut the black yarn. All right, and then just like the arms, I'm going to tie the ends of these to secure them. We have 3 rounds left. So this round we're going to do 2 single crochets and 1 decrease 8 times around. And then the legs should both fall between those 2 single crochets and not next to a decrease. So we're going to do 1 single crochet here. The next one is all the way on the other side of the leg. Decrease. So 1, 2, decrease, and you're just going to continue all the way around. Now for the next row, you're going to do 1 single crochet and decrease 8 times around. So you should have 16 stitches at the end of this round. Alright, now I'm going to take out my stitch marker and stuff this. Alright, I'm back. You want to stuff it a decent amount, but not too much. We're going to kind of sew a string between the top and the bottom here, just to make it more like apple shaped. Alright, so for this last row, you're going to do 8 decreases all the way around. So then you're going to cut a tail on your yarn. And fasten off. I'm going to thread my needle. And you're going to go through these 8 stitches on the bottom. Right, cinch the bottom hole. Then you're going to go in the very bottom. And I like to come out through these 2 stitches where the stem was sewn. So I'm going to come out this stitch right here. And then I like to go in the other side and then just out the very bottom again. All right. And then I like to pull this string until I like how it looks. Right, so like that. And then I'm going to finish off by tying a knot on the bottom. And then I just hide that yarn tail by bringing the needle through, cut the yarn, and tuck in the tail. All right, and then your Junimo is finished. The arms and legs like to curl a bit, so you can just stretch them out. And you're all done. I like to make these in a bunch of different colors and sell them at markets. They're a pretty quick make, and I think they're really cute. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to leave a comment about your thoughts and your favorite plushie makes for markets. Thank you, bye!